We're glad you're here, and we're about to begin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. KenCast After Dark. Stimulating conversations all night long. And here's your host, Ken Cole.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to KenCast After Dark. It's great to see you today. Whether you're watching live or on the replay, be sure to say hello, give a like, leave us your thoughts in the comments or the live chat. We're recording this live today. It's going to be an amazing conversation. We are back talking about Cobra Kai. We had taken a break for a long time due to the actors' strike, but now that seems to be resolved, we can jump right back into talking about Cobra Kai, all the news that's come up this week regarding potential release dates and when production is going to begin, casting and what that means for the season, comments from cast members. We're going to be talking about it all tonight. And I can't do this alone. I have to bring in an expert in all things Cobra Kai, someone who not only understands the series inside and out, but is able to delve in and bring out all those elements of humor and create memes to keep your day rolling every day. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, we have a very special guest, and you know him. May I present Cobra Kai Wisdom. Mike, how are you today?
Banned? No, you don't ban me. I'll ban you. There you go. Hey, what's up, Ken? Good to see you.
Hey, how's it going, man? It's great to see you there. Thanks for joining us. Wow, how are you doing? I appreciate the fact that you're constantly living in the Cobra Kai world, and how are you doing now?
It's like this 10,000-pound weight has been lifted off all of our collective shoulders. It's been hard, man. It's been hard having not a lot to talk about for the past 5-6 months, knowing that this show that we love exists and it's coming, but it's on a big pause button because of some very real reasons, the actor strike and the writer strike before that. And I fully supported it. They fought the good fight. I'm so proud of those writers and actors who really, really, if you think about it, took the Cobra Kai lessons to heart and just never gave up the fight. Even when things got really, really hard and really, really dark. I mean, they did it. Both of them. But now that it's done, it's like that pause button is just lifted. And with that, in comes flowing in Cobra Kai news for the first time in what feels like forever. So it's just, it's a great time to see everyone again and have this fandom back and have you, Ken, have your show talking Cobra Kai again, and seemed like a perfect time to get started talking about it again.
Yes, and you are an absolutely perfect person to talk to regarding all things Cobra Kai. And I agree, all the news is incredible. It just feels like, whoa, what is this? Where have we been? And it's getting me excited for season 6 and maybe beyond. We're going to be talking about that too today. But
Yes.
Mike, before we get going, I want to bring up some comments. Everyone who's joined us tonight, already our live chat is blowing up. We've got Nerd Fusao, if I'm pronouncing that right. I hope so. You do a lot of amazing work. Thank you for saying hi from Brazil. You do incredible work for the Cobra Kai fandom in Brazil. Thank you for joining us. It's great to see you. Matt Moore is back. It's great to see you, Matt. And thank you for being a channel member. Yeah, it's Matt. He's a cool dude. And Sebastian talking about Shamoon's live stream. That's right. Shamoon's got to be excited too. We've got news going. The entire Cobra Kai fandom has got to be excited. Seema says, I'm excited. Great to see you, Seema. Jasmine, thanks for joining us from the Netherlands. Thank you for the kind words.
Wow.
Yeah. And guys, we realize it's like we're trying to always find the best time to do these lives because Cobra Kai fans are global, and Mike and I are here in the United States. So many people watch from in Brazil, in Europe, in Asia, I think too. And so we try to find the sweet spot. So let us know if you think this is a good time. AEH, thanks for being a channel member. It's great to see you. He says very early in the morning here in Europe, but well worth watching the stream. Wow, Mike, it's so
Appreciate
cool.
that. That's awesome.
Yes, and if you're up late at night in Europe, if you're up early in the morning, Mike and I are going to do our best to keep you jazzed and energized throughout this entire conversation. Daniel says hi. Great to see you, Daniel.
Hey, Daniel. Spook. There's my spook. One of my awesome followers on Instagram. He said you'd be coming. How's it going?
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for joining us. It's going to be great. Let us know your thoughts. I know all you fans are great to see you, Lara. Let's see. If you're looking to be a bad boy in LA, Ken Cole's the boy to be with. Yeah, that's right.
Word. This is truth.
That's right. We got to get Mike out here to LA, and we'll show him the good time.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Yeah, you will. You've got to do, because we're just spoiler alert. Today we are going to go on a Cobra Kai locations tour with Mike. Mike is going to take us on a tour, and we've got to do that with Mike in Los Angeles, I think. What do you think, Mike?
Yes, 100,000%. I am on board coming, and I've told you I got to get out there. I haven't been to LA in decades. And what I told you is that if in LA they start doing fanfare for season 6 like they did in season 5 last year, I didn't go to any of that. I regret it, but I'm not doing that again. I'm going to be out there for whatever amazing events they have whenever season 6 comes out. And then, yes, absolutely. While I'm there, I got to get a Cobra Kai and a Karate Kid site visit out there.
Heck yeah. Yeah, that's a plan. We're going to make it happen. Talking Straight with Nate. Great to see you. It's Cody from Strikeforce Media, Bearded Ken.
Cody.
Heck yeah, Cody. It's getting to that special time of year. You know, Mike, we talk about winter, it's getting into the holidays, and now when the holidays happen, I anticipate a new season of Cobra Kai. That I don't know why. It's just some of my favorite memories of waiting for Cobra Kai have been during the holidays, and so I don't know. That's part of my tradition now.
It was our season.
How you feel?
For 2 years in a row. It was our season. It was either New Year's Day for season 3 and then New Year's Eve for season 4. So yeah, this Thanksgiving into the holiday season was always posters, pictures, trailers. That it was our month. So it's why it feels it, and it made it a real special time.
Now, we're going to get into this later, but just a quick advanced question for you. Do you think we have a chance of that happening with season 6?
I do.
Coming out in the holidays.
I do. How exactly it will play out, whether it's going to be the whole season 6, I don't know, or how the logistics will work, but it is possible. Because they're really not starting from scratch. They did do some production, about an episode, maybe a little bit more in May. So they're not starting from the beginning. And if what we've heard is true, one thing they have now is time to get it right, do what they need to do, so that on day 1, whatever that is, January 2nd or whatever, they can hit the ground running and make it by the following December. That would be a pretty awesome way to go out. December 1984, 40 years to the day after the release of Karate Kid, the final season of Cobra Kai. I mean, how awesome would that be?
That's incredible. The way you put that, Mike, it's almost bringing tears to my eye. I hope it happens.
No, I think they could make it happen.
Yeah, I think so too. Lara agrees and want to see season 6 in December this year. Very cool. Aurelio, thanks for being a channel member. Good to hear from you, Sensei Ken, and you too, Sensei Wisdom. Look forward to good Cobra Kai news.
Thank you, sir.
We've got a lot of news, guys, tonight. Man, there's so many great comments. Clifford, I want to say quick hi to Clifford. Thanks for being a channel member. Always love your profile photo there.
That is a great photo. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even Ralph Macchio is holding the NES cartridge for the Karate Kid video game. That's so amazing.
Oh, is that with it? Oh yeah, that's fantastic.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah,
isn't that great?
That's awesome.
I know. I was thinking about sometime live playing that game during a live. I don't know if you guys are interested in that.
Well,
It's not that
practice.
long a game.
It's not, but it's hard, as I
It's
vaguely
hard.
recall from a long time ago. So get some practice before you play it on your show and potentially embarrass ourselves. The
I
only thing
know.
I remember is once you get to Okinawa, I was like, damn, this is hard.
It is a tough game. The controls are really tough. Okay, Mike. Well, let's not waste any time. Let's get into the news.
KenCast News.
Yeah, it's like a mystical voice from beyond.
A little freaked out here.
Yeah, sorry about that, everyone. Sorry about that. But now let's get going into news. And Mike, I'm gonna go through these things and I'm gonna get your reaction to this, your wisdom, as we might say, on
Let's
all
do
this. Okay, so this want to get this out of the way, guys. If you are fans of Cobra Kai, if you're fans of 80s old school action comedies, R-rated comedies, if you're a fan of these guys, there's a new series coming out on Netflix November 30th, Obliterated. And John Hurwitz tweeted this out. If you see an obliterated billboard, take a picture and he'll share it from his own account. But Mike, can you give us your thoughts on Obliterated?
Yep. It's interesting. I don't know a whole lot about it beyond what has been shared publicly. Unlike Cobra Kai, I haven't delved into every actor, every article, every behind the scenes where I know it back and forth, and I tend to know things before the public does. Here I'm Joe Public, even though it's being made by the big three, John, Josh, and Hayden, whom I love. I know very, very little about the show other than what's been released publicly. And I kind of like that. I kind of like that I'm going into this somewhat blind and I'm going to be surprised by it. But here's what I do know. Like I said, this is being made by the big three, John, Josh, and Hayden. This is their first Netflix series that is not named Cobra Kai. And that's awesome. I love the fact that they're giving me this opportunity to go beyond the Miyagi verse one way or another. Cobra Kai is going to end next year. And I like the fact that John, Josh, and Hayden and their days in Netflix are not going to end. And a story like this just seems right up their alley. It just seems like a hilarious premise just to read the bio of what it's about. It seems like a really, really funny story. And these R-rated comedies that the big three does, if you're familiar with John, Josh, and Hayden's full set of works, the Harold and Kumar's, the American Reunions, the Hot Tub Time Machines, this show is right up their alley. This is exactly in their wheelhouse. These hilarious R-rated comedies, things that up front should be ridiculous and perhaps even stupid, but there's this genius behind them that makes them so funny. And that's what I loved about the big three's early works before I even knew they were the big three, before I even knew who they were. I remember thinking back and like, oh yeah, Hot Tub Time Machine. That was actually a great movie. Should have been really stupid. The dumbest premise, but a hilarious and genius movie. And I'm getting that same type of vibe from this. So I'm really excited to see where they go with it, because it's actually more in their wheelhouse, this show, than Cobra Kai is. Cobra Kai is the most different from any other work that the big three have ever done. This is more like what they've done in the past, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, very, very well said. I can't wait to see this either. Our friend Peter over at Cobra Kai Companion, he has Obliterated Companion, so he's already starting to cover the series. I think he's already seen it. Of course, we won't let him tell us about it. But yeah, I can't wait. I think it's going to be great. This is going to be my understanding is they have like total freedom. Obviously, they can go as adult and as they want with all the content from violence to everything else. So I think this is going to be a blast. I can't wait to see it. And I think we're going to cover it going up to the release date. And I know I am going to try to find some of these billboards. So, okay. Yes. And then we've got Michael Graff. Mikey, good to see you. Excited for play.
Hey, bud.
It's great. Yeah, hope you're doing great, Mikey. And then Let me just see. Oh, the Big T. Thank you. It's an honor that you're joining us, sir. At long last, my baseless incarceration will come to an end. And let's, Mike, if we can, briefly address this. You and I met in Washington D.C. recently. Again, we're working. We're trying to coordinate things to get the Big T, Mr. Silver, the fairest justice or true justice, I guess you could say. I don't know. How would you characterize that? Are we making progress?
Well, it's been over a year. We've had some time. We were hoping to make some progress in May, but we got sidetracked for a few months. But yes, you did come down to our nation's capital. You visited, I understand, with some people who have some insights into Supreme Court justices, and
Yes.
you're doing the work. You're not just talking the talk. You are walking the walk, my friend. And
Thank you.
yeah, it's gonna happen. We're gonna get there eventually. We're gonna talk about some witnesses, some evidence, change of stories, convenient change of stories. And I have a good feeling we're going to be seeing our good friend Sensei Silverback at a time when he may be needed the most. And I
Ooh.
also think that we may not see it coming. We may not think it's going his way, and things aren't looking too good for him, which is exactly what that mind wants us to think. And then, boom, there he is. He will be back.
I love that. Yeah, classic Terry. Classic Terry. That has me excited, and I think you're right. All of us who've been working on the Save Silver campaign, our work will be vindicated. Terry will get true justice. Mike's absolutely correct. When I was in Washington, D.C., I went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court justices have clerks that work under them. And then those clerks have assistants. And then those assistants have interns. And those interns have gophers. And I talked to some of those gophers. And I think we've got a great chance to help our buddy Terry Silver if it gets to that point. So it's a little update there. All right. So, all right, Mike, let's get into the next bit of news. This is interesting because this is a tweet that went out. I honestly haven't been able to find like the original article or interview yet, and I'm sure it's out there, but it's been retweeted by a number of different places, so I'll assume it's legit. Cobra Kai creator John Hurwitz tells us season 6 is back in the writers' room with plans to start shooting, quote, at the top of the new year. And then another quote, hopefully in 2024, our starved fans will be fed. So, Mike, your thoughts on this bit of news?
Yes. So my understanding is actually this article is actually about Obliterated, which is why you haven't seen it yet, which is why none of us have seen it yet. So I think
Okay.
around November 30th is when this article will come about. But you know, any journalist worth his salt talking to John Hurwitz is going to somehow sneak in a question about Cobra Kai. So thank you, Matt Fowler, whoever you are, for doing just that and getting us the nugget we need. So yeah, so here's what I know. And I've got a little bit of inside information that I had just before this article came out from a very reliable source in the know who told me just this, that yes, in terms of Cobra Kai, ever since the writer's strike ended, which was about a month and a half ago now at this point, the writing team has been back at it. So they have been going on, and they already had a writing phase at the first portion of 2024 before they started production. Their usual 3.5 months that they had. Now they're having even more time to write. So they've had since, I don't know, beginning of October, whenever it was, of this year, up through now, up through, I guess, the end of the year to continue writing what is season 6. So they've basically gotten double time to write season 6. So as terrible as the strikes were, as the need for the strikes were, it did give us this one opportunity to give them this additional time. And I think we can agree that there's one thing that's always been said is what makes this show great is the writing, which is 100% accurate. So we'll take that win. We will take that win. If it means a delay in the season, we'll take that win that they are writing this show. And then, yes, that the plan right now is to get back into production just after New Year's. So from that, I'm going to say January 2nd. I don't even care. But I think clearly after the actor strike ended, they needed some time to figure out logistics again, get all the actors, schedules coordinated, get the sets back to working order. I think I told you, and we'll talk about my set visit later on, that when I was there, which was in June, the writer strike had already begun, and I saw no sign of active sets anywhere, or that active sets having been there. So it just looked like the regular scenery. It didn't look like Cobra Kai was getting ready to shoot. So they got to put all that together again and, do what they need to do. Actors need to get back into training. They were doing such a great job with their martial arts training. I don't know if they've been keeping that up for the last 6 months, but definitely need to get the choreography and the stunts and all back in working order so that they can hit the ground running in 2024.
Yeah, that's, I love how you put that, Mike, because, it has been a big break and the writers weren't able to work during the strike. But I remember, I think it was Hayden who said something during, I had a chance to interview them on the picket lines, and Hayden said something like, well, maybe this is a time where some of the ideas for season 6, they can kind of percolate. And then, when we come back, we'll be fresh and, have like new energy to look at that. And it sounds like, from the way you put it, I think you're right. It's now they've had more time to think about it. And maybe also, I don't know if I should bring this up or not, but some cast members that people would love to have on Cobra Kai potentially might be more available now than they would have been back in May. What do you think, Mike?
I would tend to agree with that. One actor in particular had just given birth to twins. Let's just go ahead and say it. And it was
Right.
we were all kind of scratching our heads as to how is this going to work. As far as I know, she is no longer pregnant with twins. So
Right.
we can have that possibility going strong, because it's always been the one missing thing that people would say, if that comes back, if that enters the mix, then they've officially done everything.
Right. I know this is super, super exciting. I can't wait to see what they've come up with. They have promised that it's going to be epic. I think we can get into even more news. Let's see what else is going on here. In fact, guys, let me bring up a news article. So this is let's just dive into this. So this article is from UPI, and it's saying Cobra Kai series finale will leave room for spin-offs, creators say. And this isn't anything new, but these are some new quotes. And Mike, Cobra Kai Wisdom, I'd love to get your wisdom about these quotes and what you think they might mean. So John Hurwitz, here's a quote. Hopefully the characters are rich enough that if there is an opportunity in the future to pick up with them once again, one day, they'll still be characters people are hoping to spend time with. And then let's see. And it talked about the strike. And then Hurwitz said, we've also added so many characters into the mix and storylines into the mix that it's constantly evolving what this final season is going to be. Hurwitz said, we are taking ourselves to places in the finale that we think are going to be fun, surprising, and exciting. And then let's see, and then Josh Heald says we intend to deliver on satisfying wrap-ups for one and all. So they're kind of hinting at creating characters and situations that could go on into spin-offs. And I'm going to follow this with an interview with Sholo. Let me bring this back up. This is from Collider. And, they're talking about Cobra Kai and Cobra Kai season 6. And then they're asking him, how do you feel about closing out Cobra Kai? And Cholo said, I feel so sad, bro. I started the show when I was 16. We're going to finish. I'm going to be like 23 and I'm like, wait, I still have so many years to keep hanging out with you guys. I had so much fun. Cobra Kai taught me so much of what I love and know about acting on camera and off camera. The people, the relationships that I made on that show are ones that I'll remember my whole life. So I'm forever grateful for it. And I know it's damn not going to be the last time we meet. I'm sure 5 years down the line, we'll do like Cobra Kai reunion or something. And he laughs. I'm waiting for the spinoff. I need some spinoff. I would love an anime. I would love an anime spinoff. And then he goes on. And then, do you start filming Cobra Kai anytime soon? Do you have a date yet? Yes, I do. I do have a date, and it's right around the corner, top of the new year, maybe. So I'm excited to get back in the gi. We already did the first episode before the writer's strike, so we're going to hit the ground running. I know it. Okay, so we have confirmation on resuming production. But what's interesting to me is this idea of Cobra Kai reunion or a spinoff, and the idea that he wants to come back. Mike, as we head into season 6, what are your thoughts about spinoffs and or full-on Cobra Kai continuations maybe a few years down the road?
Yeah, the possibilities are truly, truly endless as to what a spin-off in this world could be. The cool thing about what John, Josh, and Hayden have done is not just tell a great story with Cobra Kai, but they've really created this, what we call now the Miyagi verse, this universe of these dojos, this area, this school, these characters, that it is possible to tell truly any story off of any one of these characters, or not even necessarily one of these characters, but maybe someone that has some type of correlation to one of these characters, say a sibling or something else, a younger brother of someone we knew, and it's 5 years later, and what are the dojos doing now? Or it could be a continuation of a character or two character stories. I know folks have talked about Binary Brothers stories, Hawk and Dimitri going to college, being more on the funny side. Of course, folks have talked about Mr. Miyagi and him and that Sato story. That's a big one that people would love to see. But it could be truly, truly anything. And I love the idea that we're going to get this satisfying conclusion in season 6, which I know the big 3 is just going to nail, but that the possibilities for additional stories are still there, just like they were still there clearly after the Karate Kid 3 was over. Even though we all thought it was done, that was the end of the story, we could still have it. I just hope that whatever it is, if that day comes, that it's given the same love and attention and focus that John, Josh, and Hayden have given Cobra Kai, if they're not going to be the ones in charge of future projects. I still hope there's some, that it's, whether it's made by Counterbalance or it's similar writers, similar directors, that it's given that same type of love and attention that Cobra Kai is. Because I think we've seen other genres where other spin-off shows have just kind of taken the meat of the movies that we have loved for many, many years and kind of gone in a direction, but not given it the love and attention that it deserves. So it's my hope that it doesn't happen. And I don't think John, Josh, and Hayden will let that happen after the work that they've done here for the past 5 years. So I'll take it for what it's worth. I'm psyched. And, if that means 5 years from now, there's a new show out there and, oh, look, up there in episode 9, there's a Miguel cameo. He shows up unexpectedly. I mean, I'll be off my couch. It'll be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I totally agree. I know it's such a comprehensive world, and it's just bursting with characters, and each one of these characters has their own stories. And I think you're exactly right. I would be so excited to see any of them. Of course, there's been one that's been teased publicly. That's a fun tease. Big T says Dynatox spinoff. Here we come.
Not about that one. Yes, absolutely.
That would be a lot of fun. And then Jaws, thanks for joining us. Jaws says Dynatox series written by John, Josh, and Hayden and directed by Ken Cole. Well, you're very kind. You're very kind.
Nail
Jaws.
On the head there, Jazz. Yeah, exactly.
That would be a lot of fun. Marianella says Dynatox spinoff, please. Okay, this is great, guys. Again, if you want that, I mean, right into Netflix, right into Sony, send them an email and say, I want a Dynatox series. You never know, because I'm sure the upper level people are like, I don't know what Dynatox is, but if they hear from people, if they hear from fans and they're like, wow, we're getting some heat behind this Dynatox idea, then you never know what could happen.
Hayden Schlossberg would do that in half a second. I'm just saying. If he was given that green light, forget it. He would stop working on season 6 to do a Dynatox spin-off series. No, but he would totally be on board. So yes, write in, email in, text in, tell him you want it to happen.
Oh, 100%, 100%. So, okay. So now let's get back to, there was another part. You talked about Cobra Kai season 6 and when it could come out. There was another bit of news. Actually, let me read through this. This is going to be about the casting of C.S. Lee as Master Kim Sun-young. And I'm going to share this article. I did a video on this, which some of you might have seen. And of course, Mike knows all about this. So, and I have to say, Mike, I am just so ecstatic over the idea that they call Master Kim Sun-young as an iconic Karate Kid character, which is hilarious. It's great. I love it because I've been fascinated with the idea. But really, he was only referenced once in Karate Kid 3, and it was almost like a throwaway line. And it's just so cool that now all of a sudden he's become so important to the lore of Cobra Kai.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Iconic character. Yeah, he was iconic to you and to Ken and me. We're the only ones who knew who he was, but nobody else did. Even Daniel LaRusso said, wait, that guy was real? I thought Silver just made him up.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's real exciting. And I'm psyched that Deadline got this apparent scoop. It's the only article that I've seen that I saw initially. And that this actor, C.S. Lee, who I'm not personally familiar with, but I know some other folks they were happy to see him. Apparently he was on the show Dexter and did a really great job on it. So it's a good find. And clearly, if they're hiring a whole actor to play this part, it's going to be substantially more than what we saw in season 5, which I was a little disappointed. Well, not disappointed, but I wanted to see more of him. We got the smallest tease of him. We didn't even see his face in season 5. Now we know why. That it was meant to be a tease for whatever it's going to bring in season 6.
Right. And, there's been so much conversation about this character and people have been wondering, what this means. And I think you're exactly right about that. They've hired C.S. Lee, who's a great actor. They're not going to waste him. They're going to use him. And there are going to be some amazing scenes with him. They bring up in the article that, he's presumed dead. Some people have speculated that he might be alive still. He could be old, but he could still be alive. Other people have said, no, these are all going to be flashback scenes. And what is your feeling, Mike, about whether this character is alive or dead, at least during the events of the main storyline of Cobra Kai?
My thought is that he has passed on. He became to prominence and was training. If he was already considered a martial arts master by the Korean War, that was in the early 1950s. That was a long time ago. He'd have to be 115, 120 years old, truly, at this point in 2018, 2019, which is when the show takes place. It's possible. I don't know exactly what type of threat a 115-year-old man would bring to the current karate Cobra Kai universe. So I'm more of the thought that this is going to be more flashback in nature, which seems to bode well for how old C.S. Lee appears to be, that it's going to take place at some point in the past, which leads to all kinds of possibilities. Why is he going to be in it? Why do we need this? And I've been trying to think about that ever since this news broke. What role does he play? And what is the purpose of not just referring to him now, but actually showing him? And I think it goes back to something actually you and I talked about months ago on your show, this whole dichotomy between Cobra Kai and the Way of the Fist. There being a difference. If you think of Sensei Kim, the granddaughter in season 5, she never says the words Cobra Kai, ever. When she is referring to her dojo, always refers it to either my grandfather's style or the way of the fist. That's it. So how I see it in my head working out is Cobra Kai has effectively been defeated for now. John Kreese has gone down. Terry Silver's karate has been defeated. The dojo, after season 5, as far as we know, no longer exists. So Cobra Kai karate has gone down. So what's the threat? What's this threat in this one more season? What is this fight? It's the fact that there is this larger entity, which is Kim Sung-young and the Way of the Fist. That's what still needs to be defeated. And from what very, very little we know about Master Kim Sung-young is that he is basically the opposite of Mr. Miyagi. If Mr. Miyagi is the ultimate good, Master Kim is the ultimate bad, and that they're the only equals in the Miyagi-verse. That nobody could ever touch Mr. Miyagi. No one could lay a kick on him, a punch, anything. He was just too good. The only one who could potentially be on his level would be a Master Kim. So he is the antithesis of Mr. Miyagi in every way, shape, or form. Which led me then down another rabbit hole. Well, what does that mean? Are we going to see this man in action, and against who in the past? We know that Sato, my uncle, held great anger for Master Kim, but why? Did they actually meet each other at one point in the past, and was there a fight between them that led to this hatred between these two masters who lived in different countries? Or even a little crazier, at some point in the past, did Master Kim and Mr. Miyagi meet each other? We don't know what Mr. Miyagi did for 40 years. He fought in World War II, which ended in 1945. He met Daniel Laruso in 1984. That's 39 years that we know nothing about him, which brings the possibility at some point, I don't know how this is possible, did the great Mr. Miyagi and the great Master Kim see each other, confront each other, and fight each other? If that possibility exists, that could potentially fill in one hole that's been in Cobra Kai, is the actual presence of Mr. Miyagi, which obviously was a physical impossibility because Pat Morita is no longer with us. We had a little bit of a sneak of him from behind in season 2, of course, but kind of the same thing. Never saw the face, never saw anything. Could we see a young Mr. Miyagi fight a young Master Kim? And is that actor who's playing young Mr. Miyagi a potential future part for a new spin-off series that we may see down the road? I don't know. This is me potentially talking crazy. This just got me very excited that if he's going to be in Cobra Kai, Master Kim, he's got to serve a purpose. And he's got to have some. We've already seen him with Kreese and Silver, so he's got to do something relevant. And his creation of the Way of the Fist and any, something to show how good he is would just be an ultimate. And as I see it, a Master Kim versus Mr. Miyagi is the ultimate. It's the ultimate fight in this universe. And there's a lot of story to tell in season 6. I do not believe, especially even if it's 10 episodes or if rumors are true of a potentially longer season 6, that the whole season is about training for the Sekai Taikai.
Right.
We've seen that. It's already happened. We've seen them training for a tournament. It's not going to be 13 episodes of training and then 2 tournament episodes. There's got to be more to it. And I think this whole concept of the true threat, the true evil being this Kim's Way of the Fist is a fantastic storyline, and something, again, that can be shown in the past and in the present.
Wow. Okay, Mike. I have to say, I think we could probably have you back and just talk for hours about everything you just brought up. It's amazing.
I got all that from one article. So this is the way the mind works.
That's guys, that's the Cobra Kai wisdom. That's why we have Mike on here. It's the pure wisdom of Cobra Kai. He understands these things. You brought up so many interesting things. I agree. I think you're right. I love the idea, and you bring up how Sensei Kim Daun is always referencing the way of the fist as opposed to Cobra Kai. The only reason she joins Terry Silver is it's a very interesting scene because when Terry brings up the idea of legacy and her grandfather, it's probably, I'm trying to think, is the only time in the season we really see her eyes soften. And there's a lot there. There's a lot of history there. And it seems as though the reputation of Master Kim has really suffered for some reason. Maybe it's his style, maybe it's something that he did. We know, I did an interview with Alicia Hannah Kim this past summer, and she's let slip this idea that she has a lot of problems, like personally, like she has a lot of problems. And if those relate to Master Kim and maybe something he did, maybe it's something related to members of her family. There's something big there, and we see how intense Sensei Kim is. She's got a real force driving behind her, and she wants total domination. You can see that fierceness in her eyes. And that concept of legacy, and that's another reason why I kind of agree with you that he's probably dead, because if he were still alive, I don't know if there'd be so much talk about legacy because he'd still be alive,
Right. He would have come
since he's
instead of Sensei Kim. Yeah.
right. Exactly. And I am trying to remember everything you brought up. Okay. I love my gosh, the idea that him fighting against Mr. Miyagi would be fascinating, because when Terry Silver comes in to Miyagi's backyard in Karate Kid 3 and name drops Master Kim Sun Young from South Korea, Miyagi might exactly know who he's dealing with, which is kind of fascinating, given how the story plays out. He might know exactly what is behind Terry Silver if he has
Yes.
faced Master Kim.
I agree. And I thought about that. And actually, one of your listeners brought up the fact, he said Mr. Miyagi doesn't know Master Kim. And that's what we're led to believe. We believe he does not know
Right.
Master Kim. But again, 40 years, we don't know what Mr. Miyagi was doing. And a couple interesting things on that. If you think about the Karate Kid Part 3, when Terry tells him that my master is Kim Sung Young, you don't see Mr. Miyagi's face. He's facing away. So we don't see if there's like a reaction. Like I know that guy. All we know is that Mr. Miyagi has made some connection. Oh, that explains why John Kreese did what he did. He was Master Kim Sung Young's student. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It also would explain later in the Karate Kid 3, when Daniel tells Mr. Miyagi that Terry Silver has been training me, I need to go see him on my own. And Mr. Miyagi says, do you want me to come with you? No, it's fine. I'll go by myself. Mr. Miyagi says, no, I need to be there. I know this guy is no good. I know what's going on here and why Daniel's been acting the way he has. This is all Terry Silver. This is all Kim Sung Young. I got to stop this. And that's why he comes back in and does his thing, kicks ass. But it's a possible link there somehow, that there is this connection that even Daniel didn't know about, that Mr. Miyagi had to the Kim dynasty.
Yeah. And that's there. I agree. There's so many possibilities for bringing him in. I personally think, and we talked about, we think that he's probably passed away at this point, but I think it's possible that we could see C.S. Lee portray Master Kim in flashbacks at different times. Maybe when Kim Dae-hoon's younger, and maybe when she's older, and who knows, we might even get, on his deathbed, we might get him. Maybe there's some scene there, maybe as a parallel to Mr. Miyagi's father dying, or something like that, because that would tie in with legacy and whatever motivates Kim. I think we're definitely going to get that from these scenes with Master Kim. We're going to get a stronger idea of who she is and what motivates her, and maybe what motivates the way of the fist, and maybe why we can't let it spread. Maybe this is like the big bad, like Master Kim is the big bad, like his style is the wrong way to go about it. And it's season 6 is that epic confrontation between all the characters we love and this, you could say, misuse of martial arts.
Yeah, it's truly the final showdown. And I think you're right. I think this whole concept of legacy is going to be a big theme, that clicked something in Sensei Kim's head when legacy was mentioned, and that's why she stayed. That's why she stood behind Terry Silver. But then when he failed, as she sees it, and you can see the look of disgust on her face when he's getting his ass kicked by Daniel, she starts to take the reins, and then she could have a more, I think she's going to be the driving force behind whatever this new greater threat is, whether it's Korean students, American students, something of both. And she tries to make this ultimate plan, whatever it is, come to fruition finally.
Yes. And, it's fascinating because people, getting back to, and let me bring this up. I have to thank you so much for the super chat talking Star Wars. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. And if she's in it, how do you think Julie will be brought into the Cobra Kai universe? Like, will she help at the tournament? And I think this is a really great question. And this might get back to this question of Sensei Kim and what are her plans and what does she hope to do? It could be the Sakai Taikai, but a lot of people have talked about Julie Pierce maybe being some sort of foil for Sensei Kim and going up against her in some way. And people talked about, oh, could she, fight Sensei Kim at some point? But one idea I could throw out there, have no clue if it's true. People have talked about the possibility that the Sakai Taikai might have a teacher's match or a sensei match. That could happen. I will jump in and talk about what I think is going to happen because we've covered this extensively in the Terry Silver Save Silver campaign. The fact that Chosen, Johnny, and Mike Barnes broke into Terry Silver's house, a house that is covered with cameras. They're basically committed crimes. Terry Silver has been hauled off. He's been publicly shamed. He's not going to be very happy. I think they're going to be in legal peril. And they may not be able to, especially if they want to compete in the Sakai Taikai. That's going to be a problem for their dojo if the senseis of the dojo are committing crimes. The tournament may not allow that. So how could they go to the Sakai Taikai? Well, what if they get a new sensei to come in? Could be Julie Pierce to come in if they're not able to actually be the senseis of the dojo. That could be one avenue. But like there are a lot of ways that potentially Julie could come in, but she could be that kind of confrontational foil against Sensei Kim. I don't know. What do you think, Mike?
It's definitely got to be a possibility. Cobra Kai, the show, seems to stray away so far from male versus female real fights. And they like the males to have male opponents and the females to have female opponents. And I get that. So if you're going to have Sensei Kim have a true opponent, someone worthy of the challenge, it's not going to be Tori. It can't be Sam. They're not good enough. They're too young and inexperienced. A Julie Pierce, another OG student of Mr. Miyagi, would make perfect sense. Now, how she comes into play, how she gets swept up and involved in this universe, I truly have no idea. That's being written as we speak, if it's being written at all. So the big three is probably figuring that out. How does it make sense to bring her back? All I can say is, if that's in the cards, if that's what the plan is, they'll figure out some way to connect it, and it will be absolutely brilliant. And because she's not completely new, I believe that Daniel knows who she is, that there is some history, some connection. Perhaps the whole Laruso family knows who she is, and it's not going to be like this relationship like, who are you? I've never seen you before. Oh, yeah, sure, come on in. There is this connection there. We just haven't seen it yet. And I'm wondering if we're really talking about this being the true ultimate way of the fist versus Miyagi-Do, whatever it's called. You got to have everybody, truly everybody. And that has to include one of Mr. Miyagi's first two students, Julie Pierce. She's got to be in the mix.
Yep. Yep. I agree. Clifford, thank you for the super chat, Clifford. I really appreciate it. Clifford says, what if the missing element is Master Kim Sun Young's son? Because Kim Da-eun never mentions her father, just her grandfather, which is fascinating, right? It's almost like a parallel to Chosen in a way. We don't know too much about Chosen's father. What if there's something there story-wise with Kim Da-eun's father? What if there's a story between Master Kim and her father? What if that's a source of a huge amount of, I don't know, angst? I don't know. What do you think about the idea of Kim's father figuring into this?
It would go with the theme of the show. The absence of a father is a huge storyline for many, many characters. Daniel, Johnny, Miguel, Chosen, like you mentioned, for one reason or another, their father was not in their lives. And perhaps it's the same way with Sensei Kim. She was pretty little in the one flashback we had in season 5. She looked 7 or 8, and she was already with her grandfather, not with her father, which leads me to believe he's not in the picture for some reason. And perhaps that is a part of why she is so beholden to her grandfather in the same way that Daniel feels about Mr. Miyagi and that Johnny was about Kreese back in the day. It's all I've ever known. It's all I've ever had. So and now even this person is gone. So I will fight tooth and nail to support this legacy. And to some extent, I think Daniel may actually even understand, if not respect, that. I get that. I had a mentor, a master, someone I loved with all my heart for years and years and years, who was not my father, who filled in this void of an absence of a father. And now he's gone. The only one left to live through his legacy is me. Daniel would understand that burden more than anyone. So maybe it's some insight or something that they will share at some point in the season.
Yes. Yes. Wow. Yeah, this is really interesting. There's so many story possibilities, guys. And thank you for
Tons,
sharing.
absolutely tons.
Yeah, it's just endless, endless. It's endless. Let's, Mike, we have been talking news, but one of the things I've been looking forward to tonight is actually having you take us on a tour of the Cobra Kai locations. Tell us about this trip, and then we'll launch into these photos.
Yes, allow me to take you on a journey. So I was in Atlanta back in early June of this year. I was actually there for a business trip for my day job that I had a lunch to do on Monday. But I arrived in Atlanta a Sunday, and the only flight I could get was actually Sunday morning, which at first was irritating me that I was going to be stuck in this other city for 24 hours before my lunch, until I realized, wait a minute, it's Atlanta. This is the opportunity I've been waiting for 4 years. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go there. I'm going to see the Cobra Kai dojo. And while I'm at it, let me see what else I can find that's down there that is an actual set that was used in the show, that's not in the studio. I never went in the studio. That was an actual real life piece of Atlanta that they turned into the Valley and made part of Cobra Kai. So thankfully, some very, very nice folks out there have taken the past 4 years and actually journaled it on the internet where these different sites are in the city, including addresses, because I don't know Atlanta at all. I didn't know Atlanta at all. So the streets, the neighborhoods, they meant nothing to me. But they were all listed out right for you from all 5 seasons. If it's in Atlanta, they found it. And I was able to take that, make a list, see what's close to what, see what's really available to the public and what's not, and how much I could truly do in one day and one extra morning. And it ended up being an absolutely amazing experience.
Wow. Okay. All right, guys. I am going to bring up photos, and then Mike is going to tell us the story of visiting all these places. Now, this first photo is actually of people. So you're going to have to tell us about this, Mike. So here's the first one.
Yeah. I mean, this was absolutely fantastic. So over the years, I've met some many amazing people, many of whom are actors who live in Atlanta. For those who don't know, which probably is very few at this point, most of the actors on Cobra Kai who aren't, the original Karate Kid actors and some of the stars are local actors from Atlanta. And I've gotten to know some of them, thankfully, over the past 4 years. So I just generally reached out. I didn't message anyone. I didn't DM. I wasn't trying to be a pain, but I said, hey, I'm going to be Atlanta for the first time ever, really. If anyone wants to grab a drink, I always pay for drinks for Cobra Kai friends. Let me know. And my amazing friend, Matt Lewis, right here on the left of the photo, who plays Ron, the president of the All Valley, wrote me back and said, yeah, man, let's get a drink. He and I have gotten to know each other for the past 4 years, especially during COVID. He's a great, great guy. He's real active in the fandom and on social media. So I said, great, you pick the place, I'm buying. And we met up, and he writes me back quizzically. He said, okay, let me talk to some folks and we'll pick a time. And I'm wondering, folks, I thought that this was just you and me. Who's he talking to? And so I get to this planned meetup spot. It's a bar in the area. I got there first, and who do I see walking up but this gentleman to my right, Kurt Yu, who plays George, also in the All Valley Committee. And I was like, oh, that son of a gun. He called the All Valley board. And so there I am. I had to meet him because Matt wasn't there yet. I said, are you Kurt Yu? And he's like, yes. I said, I'm Mike. I'm Matt's friend. And so there I am, just talking to Kurt, who I've never spoken to. I didn't know him from Adam, and he didn't even know who I was, except for being Matt's friend. And so he and I chatted it up for about 10 minutes, grabbed the table, and then Matt showed up. And the three of us had a great time eating some nachos, drinking some drinks, and just talking about all kinds of things. He had no control over Carrie Underwood, but there they are. They're sitting there telling us these experiences, because I got a sense that they hadn't seen each other in a couple of months or years as well, so they were kind of catching up. And they're just talking about like their experiences on Cobra Kai. And I was just kind of like, pretend I'm not even here. You guys just talk. I want to hear what you two have to say. And they're telling us about these, the experiences and working on Cobra Kai, for them, season 1 and season 4. And for Matt, also season 3. Matt's talking about that time. Matt, if you don't know, he's probably a Karate Kid fan longer than I am, which is saying something. And so he talks about his experience getting a call sheet for season 3 saying you're back on the show and you have a scene in the Miyagi-Do dojo, and what it was like to go there himself. I mean, I could just imagine. He's a fan just like us, being like, okay, you got a scene and it's in the frickin' dojo with Daniel in his karate gi. I mean, he was, trying to be a professional actor, but at the same time, he's a fanboy like us. And it was just, that's George. And I learned he also called Daryl, the actor who plays Daryl, the announcer, who unfortunately couldn't make it that evening. But it was great. So I was just listening to the two of them talk about the show, talk about different things that they've done, which I didn't realize some of them have done, and some other works that they've done together, which I also didn't know. And just about acting life in general, what it was like. And I really learned a lot from them, because at this point, the writer's strike had started, but the actor's strike had not. So I was just trying to learn at the time, what's this about? What's going on? What is it like to be a truly working actor, especially not living in Los Angeles? And they were not shy. They were telling me what it's all about, what this upcoming strike at the time is about, what they love about their job, what is a pain in the ass about the job. And I was just blown away. It is not easy work. I'll just say that. So it was, it was just a real cool night. It's one of those nights where time flies by and you don't even realize it. But two really, really cool folks. So if any of you are ever in Atlanta and get the chance to to meet Matt or Kurt, highly, highly recommend it. Two great guys.
That is so awesome. That's so great, Mike. Wow, how exciting. I love this photo
Yeah.
too. It's an amazing photo.
Yes,
Okay.
that was our awesome waitress. I basically explained, I said, here's the situation. Like, I've been wanting to meet these two forever. I need a great photo. Take like 12.
That's great. Okay, so you had this great meeting, and now you also, at the same time, had this amazing journey. So we are going
Yes.
to get into your journey. Okay, so first stop is so tell us about this
I had to do.
whole yeah, like what was this easy to find? Like what did this sneak up on you, or what was it like finding this address?
No, it was not easy to find. I will tell you, this location took some internet sleuthing. So for those who can't see, this is Terry Silver's season 5 house, which is shown many, many times. And it's the real location here. This is the outside that you see Chosen walking into. This is the same door that Barnes, Chosen, and Johnny together are about to burst through, but then Chosen opens the door. And my understanding is that the pool area where the big fight happens between Silver and Chosen is on this site as well. I did not see that because it's on the inside. Someone actually lives here, but no, it was not easy to find. They took great effort to not have that address be public, which was another reason I tried to be respectful, because I was able to find it anyway through a little bit of internet detective work. And so I do know where it is. It's a brand new house. I think it was just built right before season 5 production started. So nobody lived there at the time. Somebody does live there now. So that is someone's house. So I just wanted to see it, wanted to see what it looked like, this whole neighborhood. And so just went up. End of what you can see is a very long driveway, took a couple of snaps and then took off, trying to be respectful to the neighbors. But it's real cool to really see that and picture, all the different scenes that happen. The auction show that's earlier on in season 5, when Daniel and Amanda meet with Terry Silver and Ava Garcia, that happens right here on this driveway. It's just it's a really, really cool spot. And until yesterday, I believe I was the only fan who had seen this location, or at least the only one to go public with it. That is now no longer the case. Our mutual friend Anne is actually in Atlanta right now, and she took a photo yesterday at this same spot. I gave her the address, because if you don't know Anne, she's seen everything. Absolutely. She's even been to Okinawa. She puts us all to shame with the things that she's seen, but she'd never been to Atlanta. So when she saw my picture, she was like, I'm going in November. Like, can you please share what you'll share? And I said, of course. So she's the only one who I've given the address to and who has seen it. But it's a really, really cool spot. Would definitely recommend driving by if you can.
Absolutely. And, for anyone who's just assuming that because Mike has maybe done some side legal work for Terry Silver, that maybe that's the reason he got to get close to the house, or, that maybe he was promised actually a nice dinner inside the house if Terry Silver gets off, that's completely unfounded. We can't, that's totally unfounded, right, Mike? I mean, you found this through just good old fashioned detective work.
I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, just good old-fashioned internet stalking and looking through some auction sites and finding out the name of this place and saying, oh, this is the place here. But yes, that's about it. No free meals, nothing like that.
Good. Yes, absolutely. We're all above board here on this channel. Okay, Mike, next. So this is so cool. So tell us about this.
Yes, the local ice rink, which of course filmed one of my favorite scenes from season 4, episode 2, the hockey rink, the ice hockey rink. This was filmed at an actual local ice rink in the Atlanta area, and that was an address I was able to find. So I went to this location. I saw the exterior shots where the actual fight happens afterward, and then I was able to go into the rink and sit really where Johnny and Daniel sat. and that's where this photo was taken. I think I'm sitting in the same section as Daniel and Johnny. I'm not 100% sure. They did change a few things around to make it work for the show, including the
Right.
fact that the penalty box is right next to the stands. That's usually not the case in real hockey games. It's usually on the other side, but they built it to appear that it was right next to Daniel and Johnny. But yeah, this is just
Right.
another cool spot. There was an actual adult hockey league going on in this rink right here. And, you go to places like this and you wonder, does anyone else know what this location was used for? To them, it's probably
Right.
just where they take their kids to hockey or go play themselves. But do they know that on one day, 2 years ago, this place was used to film this amazing scene?
Yes, absolutely. And then we've got some more as well.
Yeah, so here's the outside. This is just the lobby area, I guess you could say, where, at the bottom here, you see Daniel and Johnny walking. This is just a lot. There's actually 2 ice rinks here, which I didn't realize. I had to make sure I was in the right one. Luckily, they're different colors, so I was able to figure that out. But you look at it, and it's the same, which is the cool part about these sets. They try to keep them as pure as possible. Like maybe they'll change the local sign and make it the Valley Terrors or whatever the team was, but for the most part, they keep it looking the way it looks, so that if you were from Atlanta and you did know this rink, you would say, "Oh, that's my rink," and it makes it really really cool when you go there, and it looks just like how you've seen it and pictured it in your mind from the movie, from the show.
Wow, that is so cool. Yep. No,
And then
no beef.
it would not be a visit without getting to this guy. So here's the cafe. I'm right here on the spot where the fight occurred and where the 3 best words in the whole series took place. No be there. Yep, exactly, Matt. I could not let anyone down. I was so psyched to be standing on this spot, but some tragic, tragic news did befall me that day. This was the
Oh,
only frustrating part of my day.
oh.
There is supposed to be a soft pretzel in my hand, and I'm supposed to be munching on it while I take this picture and say, "No, be there." But right before I got there, they were out of pretzels, and it didn't happen. And that poor lady who you see back there sitting behind the counter could not figure out for the life of her why I was devastated that she did not have pretzels and why none of the other snacks she could offer me were going to do any good to her. I may have gone a little overboard. This was towards the end of my day. Everything else had gone perfectly. I was like, "Oh, why didn't I bring my own soft pretzel, you idiot, Mike? This would have been perfect." So I took the very, very small loss and took the picture here without the pretzel. But again, this cafe is exactly how it looks in the show and exactly how it looks if you were to go there now. So it's real, real cool. You know exactly where to stand. I am standing on the exact spot where Johnny was standing when he said that iconic line. And it's just cool. You can just feel that he was there a year and a half ago, and that you're looking around and you're trying to figure out, how did they choreograph this fight, this big hockey fight? It must have just been so cool if you were there to see stuff going on. So it's a fun spot.
Yeah, that's well, Mike, I know exactly what you mean. Like getting to these locations, you can feel that energy flowing through you. And I totally get what you were going for with the pretzel. I mean, it would have been epic. However, this is still epic. This is still
Oh, thank
amazing.
you.
All of these things. We have a couple. Oh, Moby Cat talking about the Terry Silver house says the house is fairly modest compared to the rest of the houses in that neighborhood. My goodness, that's don't tell Terry Silver that. And then Clifford says Cobra Kai Wisdom. If I'd known you were visiting, I would have bought you lunch. Do you like poached salmon? Well,
Only when
Willie
I'm
Cole
doing
humor there.
only doing business with prosecutors, but I appreciate it, Clifford. District
That's
attorneys.
yes. Okay, Mike. Another one. Check this out.
Yes, this is this was a nice spot. That this was a quick stop, but this is a sort of underground outdoor mall, which was used, of course, as the set for Tommy Village Green in season
Mhm.
3, and Didn't have a Jersey Mike's, didn't have a Baskin Robbins, but again, it's just a very nice shopping center that could be anywhere. You change a couple of little things, and suddenly it's not Atlanta. It's Okinawa, Tomi Village. So this was another fun stop that I definitely wanted to see. It's right smack in the middle of the city.
That's so funny. And yeah, it's amazing how they transform that. It's absolutely incredible. Like when you see it in the series, what they did with this location. Very, very amazing.
What's really cool is, you see that shot of me. That is what it looks like from behind, and you're facing it. But that's not what you see when you see Daniel pull up. When you see Daniel pull up out of the cab and he gets out, he goes, "A mall?" He's in Okinawa when he said that. He actually traveled to Okinawa. But then it changes to the other side and you see this. And that was something that I came across, that John, Josh, and Hayden, the directors and writers and all that, did such a great job of making you believe that this was not Atlanta, that you were either in the valley or you were in Okinawa or you were somewhere else. And afterward, yeah, it's in Atlanta. After the fact, I could see, wow, they did a really good job of making you believe this was somewhere else when you realize this was filmed in Okinawa, but then shot here and this is filmed in Atlanta. And you, the viewer, don't know the difference. You assume it's just all the same place. At no point do you ever think, oh, that doesn't look like the place it's supposed to be. So bravo to them, because this is actually what would have been behind Daniel had he been standing in that spot.
Wow. Yeah, it just absolutely incredible work. Incredible work. Okay. Now we're into the new location.
Yes, the Country Club. This was another fun spot. This is outwards near the ice rink, not too far. This is more outside the city, but I saw that the Encino Oaks Country Club, at least the exterior portion, is right here where Daniel pulls up and meets Amanda, and the two have some words. And so this was the extent of what I got to see. So I can tell you this part looks just like the show. I'm not sure what you would see on the other side, if that's where they filmed the actual country club scenes with the pool and all that. But still, you see it and you just know, oh, there it is.
Now, is this a country club in real life?
I believe it's some type of club. That's all. The name didn't do much for me, so I'm not sure. But I think, yeah, it's some type of place where people gather socially.
Very nice. Wow, that's so cool. And then, here we are.
Yes, so this was a fun catch, because this was something I actually did not know until I started doing my research for this trip. This is, of course, the area where the OG Cobra Kai dojo was filmed for the very beginning of 106 Quiver, where we have this flashback with young Johnny and he sees Kreese. And as you can see, this is where it was. Here they did a little bit more work, one, to make it look like a dojo, two, to make it look like the late 1970s. You got the payphone there, which obviously wasn't actually there. So this was a really cool shot. But what I didn't know is that this is in the same shopping center as the Cobra Kai dojo, the OG Cobra Kai dojo from the show.
No way.
Yeah, it's literally 50 feet away. Because I was plugging in, doing Google Maps, trying to get from one spot to the other, and the same address kept coming up, and I'm scratching my head, what's going on here? And I've been stupid. I realized, oh, it's there too. You could take the same shopping center and turn it into a completely different area, and different lighting, different sets and all that. And to the viewer's mind, it's a different place. So again, just bravo to them for using this creativity. And you get two sites for the price of one. You go to one shopping center, you can see this plus the Cobra Kai dojo. So that was a cool new nugget that I actually did not know.
That is cool. And for those of you on this channel who have seen it or maybe haven't seen it, I did a live stream from the original Karate Kid movie location of the Cobra Kai dojo. And it's really incredible that they were able to find, just this other location in Atlanta and really dress it up and, make you believe it's all part of the same universe. It's really incredible what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. And just again, glad I was able to find this little nugget. And yeah, a lot of people I've told that was there too. They said, "Oh shoot, I wish I would have known that they've been to the Cobra Kai dojo, but they didn't know this thing was here." Truly, right behind the building. It's right there. It's real small. I think it's like a exercise studio now. Yeah, the payphone.
Yeah.
But yeah, just another cool find in the city.
Very, very cool. Okay, now tell us about this.
All right, so this one was fun. So this is the bar where they shot the bar scene from Take a Right 206. One of my favorite scenes of the show, and I know it's a favorite a lot of others.
Yes.
Yeah, this is just a bar in the city. It's only about 6 minutes from the shopping center I was just talking about, where the Cobra Kai dojo was. So I think this may have been my second or third stop. So I just pulled in there, and the bar looks, I tell you, exactly the way it looks in this show. I don't think they moved anything. It's the same tables. That is the table where they were sitting, the four of them, toasting to Dutch. And the bar is in the same place. The things on the wall, it's the same clock. If you look at the two photos, they really touched nothing. The pool tables are in the exact same spot. And yeah, that's the spot, except the waitress wouldn't get out of my way. She was wondering why this guy is showing up to a bar at 11 o'clock in the morning on a weekday, but or on a weekend on a Sunday. But I digress. But just another cool spot, another cool find, and kudos again to I don't know how it works, how they're able to find these different sets, these different places in the city. Oh, we need some type of bar. Oh, this would be a cool spot. And now, of course, we look at it and say, "Oh, yeah, this is perfect." So they just took this spot and they say, "You know what? We don't need to do anything with it. It's already ready to go." And maybe that's just it. Maybe that was the thought, because I know the one thing they're pressed for when they're doing production is time. That they're always saying we never have enough time to do everything. So if they've got a bar that's basically ready to go, and you just change the sign, the name of the bar, but everything else is already ready for them to shoot, that's probably ideal for them. So that is my thought as to why this. But this was a fun spot. Actually, a nice bar too, from what it's supposed to be in the show. A nice location. So I may go back, perhaps in an evening hour.
That's so cool. And you said this was in the city, and of course, in the show, it's supposed to be at Big Bear.
Yeah.
And so that's it's so cool how you can just use locations anywhere and create that illusion. Okay, wow. Okay, so this is a more recent location. Tell us about this.
Yes. So now I'm thinking about it. I was wrong. This was the second place I went. The location of the season 5 Cobra Kai dojo, which is where you have this scene where folks are walking in. I am standing in the spot where Daniel's car was in 501 when he's sitting there with Chosen and they see floods of people going in. And again, small differences. Is basically looks exactly the way it is. They add the big banner with the sign. They replace the tree you can see there with a palm tree so that it looks like California. But other than that, it's the same place. You see the same entryway there, the same ramp up. It's the exterior, and there's also this giant parking lot there, which I didn't even snap in my head at the time, is the site for where season 5 ended, basically.
Wow,
That's where
yeah.
the ambulances were. That's where everyone comes out and everyone makes up. They have all these talks. And yeah, this spot where I was standing is basically the second to last scene that we have seen in Cobra Kai so far. So another cool spot. And again, just another work of genius trying to, finding this random location. I think it's a science center in real life.
Wow.
And turning it into, making it look like the cool new Cobra Kai dojo.
Wow. So awesome. So cool. Oh, okay. Yes. So this is getting to an important location for you.
Yes. So this was actually the first stop I made, only about 10 minutes from Atlanta Airport. This is, of course, the site of Johnny's Cobra Kai dojo. as well as all neighboring businesses, pawn shops, the convenience store, all that. And, here it is in all its glory. And it was truly, truly amazing to have this be my first stop. This was the place I really wanted to see when I first knew I was coming, and I didn't realize I was going to have so much time. I said, you know what, I'm going to see the dojo location and then go on my way, not really realizing I'd make a whole day out of it. But I wanted to see this spot because, in my view, this spot is kind of like the heartbeat of the show. Personal opinion, even more so than the Miyagi-Do dojo. Because that I associate still more with Karate Kid, because that was Mr. Miyagi's. This is something new. This was Johnny's story. This is the place where he changed everything by that very first fight, when he stood up right there in that grassy spot and beat the crap out of Kyler and Brooks and all of them. This is where it all started, right here. And if you just think about how many different scenes over the first 4 seasons have taken place right here in this spot on the outside, it's truly an amazing sight to see, and just to be in, just to feel it. And yeah, right, Mikey, like this grass, I was like touching it. I was like, this is like amazing. And you just thought so many people probably walk by and are just like, oh, it's a crappy shopping center. And you know what? It is a crappy shopping center. I almost missed it the first time I passed it. It was a perfect location to make you believe that it was in Reseda, California, to get this in this not the best neighborhood of Atlanta, a place that otherwise looks like it's falling apart, to have this be the shot of the Cobra Kai dojo. And I tell you, just to be there again, it's hard to explain, but you just like you feel it when you're there. I got out of my car and I look there and I was just like, there, you're transported. You can hear the sounds, the voices of the characters, the music playing, the different scenes that happened here. And these are probably some of my reserved photos that I sent you, but I was probably this one not as much. I just happy, giddy to be there. And just picture John, Josh, and Hayden on their first day shooting this scene with Billy and Joe and all them, and just being like, I can't believe we're making this. And it's a very, very special place. So if you can only see one thing in Atlanta, Georgia, go see this. It is as close to a religious experience and a religious place for us in the Cobra Kai fandom that I can imagine, just to be in this spot and pay homage to it. So definitely do so if you can. And for me, it was just absolutely amazing. So much so that it's actually the only spot that I went back to the next day and went to twice. Just because I just said the following day, I said, I got to go back there. Because when I went here the first time, I knew I had a lot of other places to be. So I probably rushed it a little bit. So I said, I got to go back and just be there and just stand there one more time. That's what I did. So very, very special place.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And Biff Tannen also says, also the place where Daniel sees Kreese the first time since Karate Kid 3.
Truly. Think about how many different scenes. And this was very cool for me when, after this trip was over, watching the show for the first time after that, I start to see it from a different viewpoint. Oh yeah, that scene was there. Oh, that scene. And certain things, like you can tell which scenes were filmed at the studio, that it was meant to look like this shopping center, but it's not. It's the studio. Because the actual dojo, the inside of the dojo, is at the studio. It's not here. So anytime you see them coming from outside to inside, and you can actually see the inside, like season 2, when he just gets dumped by Moon, he turns around, he goes into the dojo, that's on the studio. You can see differences. But when it's scenes like this, where it's outside and then it switches view and then they're inside, that was filmed here. Or whenever they're going from place to place within the shopping center, that was filmed here. So you get an appreciation, again, for all the work that they put into this to make it just look so seamless. 1 second you're in this shopping center, the next you're in the Cobra Kai dojo, which is in a different location. But to the viewer, it looks like you're just walking inside. So bravo to them.
Wow. Yeah. Oh man. How great is this? Yeah. Anyone here who lives around Atlanta, if you're going to Atlanta, definitely, definitely check this out. And if you have been there, leave a comment below the video and let us know your story of seeing this location or any of the locations that Mike's been to. Let's oh yeah, there's another great shot.
Yeah, tried to get every angle.
That's fantastic. Yep. There's another one. Okay, that's another wider shot of the old Cobra Kai dojo from the movies recreated. Oh, okay, here we go.
So this was a fun spot. This, of course, is the area where season 1 Laruso Auto was shot. And actually, one thing I learned is that Laruso Auto, over the seasons, has never been shot in the same location in any season, which is why they always kind of imply in the show, oh, welcome to Laruso Encino. Welcome to Laruso North Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Why did it always have to be in a different one? Well, this is why. I don't know the reason for it, but I guess they were not always able to get the same location each time. But it didn't matter because Laruso Auto has many locations. So they were able to just, that was their excuse. Oh, this is a different location. But this is the one from season 1, which in my view is the best one, because that is where Daniel and Johnny meet up for the first time. It's where we meet Anushin Louis, where Robbie starts to work and works out there, where Johnny gets the Challenger is in this parking lot where I'm standing. It's a lot goes on if you think about Laruso Auto and season 1. And once again, except for the name Laruso not being there, it looks exactly the same. It is basically untouched. You'll go there and you'll see in a second. Yep, this is it, Laruso Auto. I've made it.
Wow. How cool is that? And do you know, did they film on the for the interiors of Laruso Auto in that first season? Did they film inside this building?
Okay, I'll tell you a funny. Actually, I don't think I've told you this, but funny story. The only time I got somewhat busted this day when I was trying to get an answer to that very question. If you go to this place, it's kind of hidden and it looks abandoned. It looks vacant. It looks like nobody works there anymore. Turns out that's not the case, because I go in there, I'm looking inside these windows here to see just that. If the inside is what the inside looked like on the show, if it's the same location, to which suddenly there's someone behind me going, "Can I help you, sir?" And it turns out there is one business in this building, a small business. Wondering why the hell I was just driving up and looking inside. So I was not able to get a full answer to this question. He was totally cool once I explained who I was. And I said, "Did you know Cobra Kai was filmed here?" And he said, yes, they actually told them when they signed their lease. So the best answer I can give you is I think so. I think the inside of Laruso Auto was filmed here.
Wow. Very cool. That is funny. That must have been so freaky when when you got approached.
Well, when you think you're alone and suddenly you're not, it was weird, but
right.
So far from what I found, people are pretty cool about it.
Oh, sure. I would have to think. That you couldn't have been the first fan to come up upon this building and try to look in the windows. They must be kind of used to it. I'm sure.
Well, someone had to get the address, so someone had been there. I think maybe even Cobra Kai Nation Shamoon had been there a few months ago. I know he went to one of the auto locations. I don't remember if it was this one or another, but I agree with you. People, yes, we kick the competition, shopping prices.
That is so funny. Okay, let me see. Is there ooh, yes. Okay, so here's a good location.
Yes, this should look familiar to everybody. This is the Laruso house, and it's quite a location. Again, it kind of sneaks up on you. This is on the outside of Atlanta. This took a little bit of driving to get to, and but once you see it, you see it. You look, there it is. Same color, same style, same everything. And this was the best view, unfortunately, that I could get because a family does live here. It also does not have the best parking in the world because it's just a residential street. So I had to drive by a few times, park in this family's driveway and take 1 or 2 shots and head my way. But still real cool to see. And this is where all of the exterior and the pool scenes of the Laruso house were filmed, not the inside. The inside was filmed in studio. That I do know, but
Oh,
still,
interesting.
yeah, lot of cool shots here.
Wow. Very, very cool. Oh, okay.
Hey, Peter.
Oh yeah, we've got Peter Vonasak. Good to see you, Peter, from Cobra Kai Companion.
What's up? What's up? Yes, so this was my, except for going back to the dojo one more time, this was my final destination, which I absolutely had to do. And another almost disappointment was the fact that I almost didn't get to see it because, like I said, I got there on a Sunday, and this school is actually closed on Sundays. So I could only see it looking in through a window. But I said, all right, I got to make this happen. I'm going to come back Monday morning early and see if I can get in here. And I did, and it worked, and I'm so grateful for it. So, yes, this is the location of West Valley High. Excuse me, it's one location of West Valley High. There are actually several over the course of the 4 seasons that we've seen West Valley High. I believe season 1 was an entirely different school. The pool area is somewhere else. The exterior shot, whenever they show West Valley from the outside, is somewhere different. But anytime we're in the hallways, season 2 through 4, any of the school scenes is in this location. It's actually a technical college out there. And of course, this specifically is the hallway location and the stairwell location where the big season 2 fight happened at the end of that season. And this was pretty cool. It was really cool. Except for the dojo, this might have been my favorite spot to go at and see, because again,
Wow.
as you can see, these are just photos I took. It looks exactly the same. The plants, they're in the same spot. The banister, that's the same wood that Miguel hits before he hits those stairs. You can see the gray color of the stairs. It looks just like it is. It's the same stone that Miguel landed on. And this is the shot of me, where Miguel fell. This is the railing that he went over. It's all right there. You can smell it, you can touch it, you can just put your hands on it and be like, yes, this is the spot. And that's the really, really cool spot of there being these real world sets as opposed to a studio, which get torn down and then you'll never see again. That this is there right now in Atlanta that folks can view. If they can sweet talk the security guard like I did, but we'll let that slide for now. But just really, really cool spot. And I know I keep saying it, but once you get in there, you're looking at it and you're just picturing Zach and Leo's music, the hallway hellscape music going, and you're just walking and like, this is where Robbie went up. This is where Tori went down. And you get a sense of the different viewpoints and the angle choices that the directors and the showrunners chose and how they made these different scenes work. And it's not a very big lobby. This is like the lobby of the college, the main entrance. It's not a very big area. So just the thought that they had all these kids out there and that they were able to create this whole huge karate fight in this area is truly, truly amazing. That you have Sam and Tori in one spot, Robbie and Miguel in another, and plus, a lot of the other smaller fights, Dimitri and Hawk, the end, the bookcase, the trophy case. It's really cool how they were able to coordinate and choreograph all of this in this location. But another very, very cool spot.
Absolutely. And I actually, Mike, I have a video you shot of this, so you can
Oh,
get a
good.
sense of the space. I'll
Yes.
I'll bring it up here. Wow. How amazing. How amazing is that? So, okay. So what I know you've talked about how impactful each of these locations were for you. What was this overall impact? Does this change how you view the series at all? Uh, do you, if you revisit the series, does this change your immersion in it? What was the overall impact of visiting all these sites?
I mean, it was just a absolutely incredible day. So picture this. I saw all these sites and then I went out to dinner with Matt and Kurt. This is my Sunday. So I went to bed that night a very happy man, except for the fact that at the time I had not seen the school yet, but I made a point of seeing that the next morning. So a very, very incredible, meaningful 24 hours for me. And I don't say that lightly. I knew I was going to have fun. Oh, there's a cool site. Oh, there's where that was filmed. I wasn't prepared to be as emotionally affected as I was, that when I'd go to, again, especially the dojo and the school, that I'd feel like I was there. So yes, I feel closer to the show, which I didn't think was possible by just being at these locations. And yeah, like I said, it really did give me a new appreciation for how hard everyone involved in the show works, want to find these locations. I mean, how do you find a random shopping center in this corner of Atlanta and turn it into a Cobra Kai dojo? Someone did that, or maybe a team of people did that. I don't know who it was, but just incredible. And also, like I talked about, the way they were able to make these locations suit their needs by doing very, very small things, adding a palm tree here and there. And that's all they did. Otherwise, they stayed true to the location. And also, but when it was necessary, switching shots and making you believe that you're in Los Angeles, California, or that you're in Okinawa instead of Atlanta, which you clearly are. When you're there, you do not feel like you're in California. You definitely realize you look out and, oh, this is Atlanta, Georgia. You don't think that even for a second. And just small things that they did. The windows in the college, if you look at the school scene in season 3 and season 4, they're always blurred out. I guess they use some type of contact paper. I never realized that until I watched it after the fact. But of course, it makes perfect sense, because if you actually were to look outside those windows, you'd see a parking lot in what is clearly not California. So
Right.
little details like that some department, someone was in charge of, that just made it look like, yes, this is West Valley High. This is the Cobra Kai dojo. This is a bar out in the boonies of California. And it just, yeah, gave me a whole different level of appreciation for that, as well as all the actors having to go to all these. I did a lot of driving this day. These were in a lot of different corners of the city. So the fact that all these people, scene to scene, day to day, in a very short period of time, had to go to all these different locations, set everything up, do the production, take everything down, and then go to the next. You think about one episode of the show, of just one. How many different locations are in one episode? And
Right.
all these folks have to get up, down, over, down. It's got to be absolutely exhausting. I did this for one day. It was just me, and I was exhausted. So yeah, absolutely, definitely gave me an appreciation for the show, and was able to see things watching it after the fact that I couldn't see before. So it was a great experience. So if anyone is planning to go to Atlanta in the near future, or maybe after season 6, let me know. Let me take some of the hard work out of it for you. Happy to share my knowledge of addresses and different neighborhoods now, what's close to what and what's not so close. Take some more driving. So happy, be my pleasure to hook you up.
That's amazing, Mike. And if anyone watching, either live or on the replay, is not following Cobra Kai Wisdom for any reason, I have links in the description. Follow Cobra Kai Wisdom on Instagram and X/Twitter, and your life will be just enriched every day. He has these incredible memes, but obviously a lot of knowledge, and you can connect with him for all these reasons. Mike, thank you so much for taking us on a tour. It meant a lot to me because obviously I haven't had a chance to go out to Atlanta yet. So you brought me there and you brought all of us there. So thank you so much. As we head into 2024, and the restarting of production for Cobra Kai season 6, and it looks like we got a good chance of getting it in 2024. What wisdom, what words of encouragement would you give to the fandom watching now that are maybe impatient, having gone through sort of like this production desert? That's been the case with all shows. But what words of encouragement, what words of wisdom would you give to everyone watching now about looking forward to season 6?
I get it. I was in that boat with you these past 6 months, just waiting for something that wasn't happening. But now we can take a deep breath, and we can confidently say Cobra Kai is back, baby. It is back. They are writing this final season as we speak, and in 5 weeks, they're going to get back to production on the final season 6 of Cobra Kai. And that's where the fun begins. That's when we're going to get John, Josh, and Hayden tweeting from the set and teasing us like crazy, saying things like, "Oh, you are not going to believe what I just filmed. Too bad you're not here." And just messing with us like that, which we love. And then slowly but surely, news coming out about different characters, like the way we learned about Terry Silver coming back in season 4, Mike Barnes coming back in season 5. We've already learned about a new character. This is the fun time. This is where it's at. And it's the final season. So I get it. It's always long and painful between seasons, but it's moving forward now. This is the last hurrah. They've had so much time to write this. Let them work their magic. Let them get it right. John, Josh, and Hayden have had their ending in mind since day one. And they've said this many times. They said, we know how we want the show and the character storylines to end. We just don't know how we're going to get there just yet and how many seasons it's going to take. Now they know that. And that's what they're working on right now. So let them develop this story. Let them give these characters and the show that we love this perfect ending. And they've said it will be well worth the wait. And they haven't led us astray so far. So I'm going to choose to believe them. And I think it's possible, like I said at the beginning here, that next year is going to be our year. It is possible. They filmed season 4. They started filming season 4 at the beginning of 2021, and it was released at the end of 2021. So it is possible, because like I said, we're not starting from scratch here. It is possible the season or part of the season will be released next year. So, how they're going to produce that, how they're going to, what they're going to do, we'll learn that next year. But all we know is that they're going to make the show. They're going to make these fight scenes. They're going to make this epic story, and it will be worth the wait. So in the meantime, though, that's what the fandom's for. That's what amazing guys like Ken are for, what my page is for, to keep the entertainment and the suspense and the fun going until the actual show comes out. So stick with us, and Peter as well, if he's still here. All his news, all his interviews, just, we'll keep the fun alive for as long as we can till season 6 drops.
Wow. Mike, so well said. I have so enjoyed you coming on tonight and sharing your knowledge and wisdom and experience with us. It's gotten me even more excited for Cobra Kai season 6, if that's even possible. And Mike, I would love to have you back to continue talking about what may happen in Cobra Kai season 6. And also, I'm sure as the drip of news stories come out, new possibilities will come to light. And we would love to get your thoughts and your wisdom about that. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Anytime. Yeah, you name the place, I'll be back. Absolutely. Thanks so much for inviting me. And thanks to your listeners making these awesome comments. And for some of my friends who showed up, I appreciate it. Appreciate it a lot.
Yes, everyone, all followers of Mike who are watching their first KenCast, thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. If you're watching and you enjoyed this, go ahead and hit like and subscribe so you don't miss anything else going forward. And if you haven't commented, if you didn't have the opportunity to comment in the live chat, go ahead and put a comment below the video. It's permanent and we'll get to read it forever. And we want to hear your thoughts on all of this. Everyone, thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for your wonderful thoughts. And we look forward to seeing you next time on KenCast. Have a good night.
Thank you for joining us tonight. And we look forward to seeing you next time on KenCast.